領域展開。無料空所。
Guys, that's it. That's it for Devil May Cry 4. Yeah, it was fun. All right. As you can see, I played Legendary Dark Knight difficulty, and yes, there was a lot of enemies. And yes, I did complain sometimes because the enemies. It wasn't particularly because of the enemies, because of the clutter. That I didn't never think about that. The amount of enemies piling up like that would cause such a big ass clutter on my screen that I could see my goddamn character half the time. But it's neither here nor there. I had a good time. The challenge is very welcome for me, honestly, considering that I played most of the other Devil May Cry games on the normal difficulty. I think you don't really choose difficulty for Devil May Cry 3 or 2 or 1 when you play them for the first time. So I'm assuming, yeah, that's just normal difficult. Yeah, I beat the game. Everything's just to clarify, let you guys know, I just beat it. So it's only been like, what, 2 minutes since I beat it. So I thought I was go ahead and get this off my chest a bit, you know, just talk about some things, alright? Because I feel like these things have to be addressed in this game. While yes, it was the clutter of enemies, and I mentioned that, but that was more just because of the difficulty I chose. But then I had to say though, this game's enemies is definitely not the funnest to go against. Yeah, the enemies in Devil May Cry 4 are some of the most repetitive I've seen in this game, honestly, guys. Out of all the Devil May Cry games, this has to have some of the most repetitive enemies. And when I say this, honestly, that's because I despise the ghosts in this game. The ghosts in this game, I genuinely despise. They don't feel the same way they did in Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3, I was actually able to hit them, fight them. You know, they could face through walls and come in and out, sneak attack me, do all that cool stuff. But I was able to hit them. In this game, that's not the case. They floating in the air 24/7, and then they can just kind of almost down there immortal, very close to it, honestly, guys. The only way you get them is with your gun and get them in your face. But like, understand when you playing the Legendary Dark Knight and they coming in like 8, 7, a bunch at once, your chances of getting one by one are very low, simply for the fact of you have them all rushing you at once, popping, especially the ones with the captain hat. So that was not a fun experience at all, honestly. I fucking despised it. I hate those enemies. I hate those enemies with passion, man. I fucking hate those enemies. I really do. Then you have the whole situation with the bosses. The bosses were good. I didn't hate the bosses, actually. I found those bosses actually really the funnest part of the game, honestly. The story was cool. Nero's introduction is cool. I know this will be like introduction for Nero and all that, but like I said before, just to refresh you guys, I played Devil May Cry 5 first years ago, like around the time recently, right around the time it came out. I didn't pre-order, and that's like, I think it like came on, it was on PS Plus, one of us, way back. Alright, that had to be like 2019. I had not like 2020, somewhere around that point. And I played it and then got through that, and that was a lot of fun. And then we back to Devil May Cry 4. So learning how Nero came into the story and everything, and then Kyrie basically is kind of just like the damsel in distress. Like, there's no other way to look at it, guys. Basically, Kyrie was just a damsel in distress. Like, she was there. You know, she's basically like the girl that Nero liked, and she liked Nero, but she didn't know how she really felt about Nero, and then everything kind of transpires, so not really much to be said about her, honestly. And then you have Kyrie's brother, I can't remember his name. He like I genuinely can't remember his name right now, guys. This is crazy. He came along and he was introduced as the big brother of the girl that Nero was basically dating. I think he was already dating her in the beginning of the game, so you know that was already kind of established. Nero grew up, I believe he said, like in an orphanage, I believe, and he kind of just grew up in a church. So, and basically that's kind of how he ended up, you know, working there. And then his demon arm is something that he was kind of hiding for a long time, but like using it to make money as well. So that was a thing. And honestly, Nero's devil arm is very interesting to me because it's like, it seems like his arm is basically stuck in his devil trickle form. That's basically what it seems like. His arm is equivalently stuck in his devil trickle form. And by this logic, can he not eventually learn how to turn that off? I'm just guessing. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe biology wise he can't turn it off. Maybe it's just how his arm is naturally is. So, and then in the case of the villain was the Pope, you know, the church was a demon, and the whole church is basically full of demons. How the hell did Nero not figure that out? How the hell did he not know there was a church full of demons? Like, he kills demons, but he didn't know that he was working with demons. You know, this now processes in my head, and it's like, I don't genuinely understand how did he not know that. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was with that. Also, Virgil's a terrible father. Shouldn't be not really too surprised on that one, because like, you telling me this is his son? He didn't raise his son at all. He just left him in the church, and who knows where the fuck Virgil is in this game. I don't know where he is, man. This man has been not been mentioned. Now, well, he was mentioned. Take it back. He mentioned because he does. Nero basically ends up getting his sword, so I don't know how he lost his sword in the first place either. And then you have Dante and the crew pull up. You know, it's good to see Trish and the lady back into the game. You know, doing what they do best is Devil Never Cry. And, you know, they get the mission to go take down the church because word is that the church is full of demons and they're trying to break the barrier between the human world and the demon world. I swear that it's like the most same plot for every single game. I think the only Devil May Cry game that doesn't use that plot, and I'm not kidding, is probably Devil May Cry 2. But even I don't even think that was really like Arius wasn't really particularly trying to separate. Was he? I can't remember. I don't think he was trying to separate the demon world, instead of like trying to break the demon world into the human world. I think he was actually. That's one thing. He was like the ambulance. He was trying to get power and stuff like that. But I don't think that was his main goal. But I think that's kind of like one of those like, you know, like, well, might as well just let the demon world sink into the human world while we're at it type of deal. So I can't remember. I think that game did use that plot as well. So it's pretty much a common theme when Devil May Cry games. You best believe that villain's going to try to open that door up with a sword of Sparta, and it's trying to get the demon world and invading into the human world and all that good stuff. So I mean, the Pope he's okay. He's better than Arius. Well, actually, I had to say the Pope's motivation was basically that he was going to save everybody using demons' powers, which was very interesting mindset he was following, thinking that you want to use the power of demons to stop demons, but you equivalently want to become a god. Even demons looked at him and said, this human really thinks he's God. Like, that should have already kind of told you the red flag right there, how crazy as hell you look doing some shit like that. But you know, he was pretty cool for a villain. You know, he kind of like, you know, took the girl, you know, had Nero. He basically came to like the big driving, connecting factor for Nero to continue his journey and was doing his thing. I honestly didn't think I was going to play as Dante in this game as much as I did. I knew he would be playable, but I didn't think it would be much playable as it would. But I'm going to be honest, I kind of didn't like the way they did it. I ain't gonna say kind of, I don't like the way they did it. I don't like the way they kind of utilized Nero and Dante in this. If anything, I felt like they should have had their own boss enemies going against instead of Dante kind of having to clean up after Nero. Because that's basically what he was doing this entire game, cleaning up after this man. Now, I understand Nero was young, but I think it would have been kind of cool for him to like win, you know, destroy some of his enemies. But it kind of just seemed like, yeah, he would fight enemies, he would take them down. But like, you play as Dante, I'm basically going backwards, and I have to go take down every single boss this man didn't kill. Which is crazy to me, because it's like some bosses did get away from Nero. Of course, he won the battle, but some bosses did escape him. But it was like, yeah, it was obvious that little plot was only because they wanted something still left for Dante to go fight when you play as him. And I don't know if they just didn't have the budget to go create another boss enemies. I would prefer it if they created more boss enemies to go against, you know, Dante, like new ones, you know, to go against Dante when you played as him, because it would have been more interesting. Like, I see they try to switch it up. I think they add like it felt like, I think, before I remember at least, they added a new like little move for each villain boss when you play as Dante and go against him. But the problem was that Dante's so goddamn strong that it doesn't really feel like no matter what they do. That's why I say he needed different bosses, because he's so damn strong. Dante's one of the people where it's like, you're not gonna really get much out of using the same boss for Nero and Dante, because Nero and Dante are just two different levels entirely. So, you know, between the two of them, it's like, obviously, you play Dante, you get all these different styles, weapons. You know, the way you fight is going to be so vastly different that you're going to cook. Like, when I went against the big fire dragon, I think his name was Ifrit, right? I can't remember his name. And then I went against him, and, like, he wasn't really much of a challenge. Like, I think I died, like, did I die against that guy? I think I died, like, no, it wasn't him. It was the plant lady I think I died against. Was it the plant lady? Can't remember if it's the plant lady or the dragon. I think it was him. I think it was Ifrit the big dragon. The fire dragon I lost against him as Dante, and that's because I kind of just like was still processing the fact that I was fighting him again, and it was like, oh, okay, I'm doing this again, and like the bosses were cool. Okay, it was fun to do as Dante. It was fun to do as Nero, fighting the same bosses twice. But it wasn't fun to do it a third time. All right, I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't fun the third time. I was over it. I'm tired, guys. I don't want to fight the same bosses 3 fucking times. That's literally what I did in this game. I fought the same bosses 3 times. 1 time as Nero, 1 time as Dante, 1 time as Nero again. And they're like, what is the deal? Like, what is the point? Like, it got repetitive very quickly. For one, it wasn't challenging at all. Cause by the time the 3rd time came around, I definitely wasn't phased at all fighting against any of them, because it's like, I know everything they're going to do. There's nothing they can do that I don't know, other than the fact they can just crank up the power for each of the bosses and make them stronger and make them do way more damage. But other than that, I know what they're capable of. I know how they're going to respond. And once it gets to that point, it's like, I don't think there's no real strong reason for me to really try hard, because it's like, it's literally what it came down to. The reason, the longest part for me in this game was, I know I'm getting a little sidetracked a bit, but it's connecting, guys. But basically, what happened in the end, if you play Devil May Cry 4, you know that before you get to the final boss, you basically had to go through this little dice game. Now, this dice game held me up for like an hour, and like this game dropped so low on my ratings for the Devil May Cry game simply because that one last part I cannot stand. Like, I'm genuinely, when it comes to combat, I love Devil May Cry 4. The combat in this game is wonderful. It's really fun to play. It's really vastly different. And, well, for Dante, Nero's is cool. Nero's really dope with the whole grabbing and with the arm thing, but his get pretty old real quick and fast because Nero's only uses the pistol, and he has the sword, and the engine sword basically cranks that up and flames to turn on. But like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't use it very often. I used it, but I didn't use it often because it's like I didn't feel it to be useful in battle. Like, it did damage, but it was like, it was 3 hits. Once you swing it 1 time, it's already like basically you got to do it all over again. So it was like, I didn't really see the strong point in keep doing that, cranking it into the battle. Plus, the enemies weren't gonna give me no time to do that anyway. So most I just trying to combo it, you know, use a little well, I forgot the name of this technique, where it was like basically you can use it and then you can swing the sword and do it like that, and then it'll turn on while you swing after the first swing. So, you know, I basically was doing that most of the game and just kind of going with that. Yeah, it's crazy, yo. And like, it's crazy because playing this game and knowing what I know for this game is like, yeah, man, Devil May Cry 4 and playing with Nero was fun, and then the combat, what it came down to it all, was definitely interesting because I never played with Nero before, and well, I technically did, but you know, that's besides the point. First time using him, you know, and how he started off, and basically, you know, I was very surprised because, like, honestly, I didn't really process my brain. At some point, he had a human arm, so, you know, in Devil May Cry 5, you know, it's not spoiled for me. Like I said before, I've played that first, so basically, don't ask me why that was the first one I played. That was a long time ago. That's before I even consider going back to play the other Devil May Cry games. So let's put that to the side. But, anyways, though, like I said, well, with Nero, his arm, and then grabbing people and doing that, and then also with the ignition sword and going crazy with that. Well, Red Queen and doing that. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. His Red Queen, his Blue Rose, and using that weapon and stuff like that. But I think when it really comes down to it, at the end of the day, Dante was just, you know, he's way more funner, and it's not even like a competition because it's like even in the first game, my Devil May Cry, Dante had different weapons, but Nero, he got what he got, and nothing changed for Nero. Nero had the same thing going for the, like, he didn't gain any new abilities and nothing like that. But now I want you to understand, I did play the special edition. Did I purposely try to get the special edition? Not really. I just ended up having it. It's how I happened to end up getting it. But and then that came with all these new red orbs. So basically, I was able to get all these techniques at once. So maybe that's why I felt like it wasn't much for me, honestly. I was basically able to get the techniques. I kind of tried to do it slow, but playing on Legendary Dark Knight and a bunch of enemies, yeah, I just bought everything at once. I needed everything like that. I couldn't hold back. I needed all of it. So when I was going through the techniques, I was playing it, and then like after a while, he just kind of reached this point. It was like he's kind of stale. You know, when you grabbing people, it gets pretty fun. You know, throwing around and stuff that's swinging around like a rag doll. That's all it's gonna be like. It's funny. His hand grabbing people is definitely gonna be the funniest part of Nero's kit, because it's just satisfying to grab your enemies and smack them around on the ground like the whack-a-moles, or you know, throw them on the ground or kick them or Batista bomb them. You know what? Actually, that damn hand of his is pretty damn cool, honestly. And it's like, bro, after a while though, doing it for so long, it's like, and then I was wondering like, damn, when I'm gonna play Dante? Cause that's what the thought kind of got in my head. By the time we got to the forest, I want to say after the forest, I was kind of reaching this mindset of like, okay, when I'm gonna play Dante? I didn't say it, but I was thinking it, because at this point I've already kind of explored everything I could explore with Nero. And like I just felt like I'm now it's getting a little repetitive. Like I'm waiting on fighting and stuff like that. Like I'm even looking at skills and doing different skills, but like to be honest, most of these skills are pretty simple for the most part. So it's not like I didn't even like really try to be super stylish about it. I mean, I try to do something every now and then, but nothing too crazy. You know, most of the time if I'm stylish, if you see me being stylish, it's not because I'm purposely being stylish. Most because it just so happened to add up the way I'm fighting a certain enemy at that time. Dante though, I was really happy to get Dante, because when he fought against him, seeing everything that Dante was capable of, and it was like crazy. Like this man he got everything, man. There's no way. Like, why would you not want to play as him? Like, and then when it gets to the situation of like Dante, and then I ain't really do too much trouble with Dante, right? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think I even died as him actually. No, I did die as Dante once, but that was due to my own incompetency. That was my mistakes and basically being sloppy while I was fighting. I got a little too confident trying things out, and it got me fucked over. So yeah, it happens, guys. It happens to the best of us, alright? And I was playing, and it was a lot of fun. And the story is pretty good, honestly. I think it's a really good introduction for Nero. You know, explaining who he is. It wasn't nothing too special or crazy, but I think it does what it set out to do, and explain who Nero is, how he's introduced into the story, and how he's related to Dante. And well, it don't need to explain. I won't say how he's related to Dante. You just know he looks like Dante, so he obviously has to kind of be related to him. Devil hand, also white hair, like it kind of has to be there. But you know, I can understand probably when this game came out, it was no way people already had the suspicions, but it was probably never confirmed. Cause it was like Dante probably already knows who Nero is, but like he never mentions it. Who Nero's like parents are, or where he comes from. Like it's never really talked about. It's just kind of like mutual understanding of like, yeah, you're cool, I'm cool, we're cool. Fuck it, let's kill some demons. Like, let's not think about it too much, you know. And it's basically how we go for it at this point in the story. But back to the thing I hate about this game the most is definitely that dice game. I despise it. And I'm gonna be honest. I put Devil May Cry 3 above this game. I put Devil May Cry 1 about this game. I put Devil May Cry. I ain't gonna get too carried away. I ain't saying Devil May Cry 2, but I'm just gonna talk about enemy wise. Enemies, bosses. I prefer the enemies from Devil May Cry 3 and Devil May Cry 1, and better, definitely. Because what the hell were they thinking with that dice game, bro? I genuinely don't know what the thought process was when they went into that dice game before you get to the final boss. You play as Nero and you're inside the statue, and basically you have to go through these levels, and there's these dice you have to roll. Basically, I'm basically having to gamble to fight the final boss. Basically, that's equivalently what I'm doing. I'm gambling to get to the final boss. Like, what the actual hell? Who thought that was a good idea to add it to? That's gotta be the most dumbest fucking villain monster device they put into the game. It was obviously there to slow you down. Like, I don't know if that was not there in the normal mode. I'm not sure. I gotta take a look at something, because in the Legendary Dark Knight difficulty, there's that dice, and I'm assuming it's probably easing everyone out. I'm assuming, maybe not, but if it is, that shit ass. That shit is ass. I had hit that dice one time, and I had fought ads. Well, I'm calling them straight up ads and monster NPCs, bro. I hit the dice, and I hit that red little spot like 8 times back to back. I'm not kidding, 8 times, and I didn't fight the boss, not even once. And this happened on the little plant one, the one I was supposed to fight, the little plant lady again, where she is the little plant dragon, whatever the hell she is. Yeah, and basically I didn't fight her not once. It was so bad that I got frustrated. I don't think you guys saw that. I don't know. Did you guys see that? You guys might see that. I guess depending on how I'm feeling at the time. And basically, I got mad as hell and just let myself die because at some point I just got tired of fighting because I was just fighting ass over and over again. Like I had lost like a lot of red orbs. I was spending a lot of red orbs, so I was broke. So understand, I started off like maybe like 8,000 red orbs. By the time I got to that point, I was down there close to 91,000 orbs. Red orbs, guys. That's just fighting fucking ass. No bosses, just ass. That's insane. That's insane. Like that's insane. No, I was wrong. It's not the plant lady when that happened. That was actually the moth butterfly, whatever the hell he is. I don't remember his name either. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just realizing that. I don't think they ever said a name for a lot of these characters. At least the villain ones, at least. But yeah, I was like getting into that, and that shit was his having me like, bro, what, bro? Like I can't stand this shit, bro. I couldn't stand the dice thing. The thing, it was stupid. Why not? If you're just slowing me down for no reason. Like, why didn't you just go the Devil May Cry 3 route when you just go to the portal, you just fight the boss again? Like, there's no extra shit. You just go to the portal, you just fight the boss again. Like, if they really want to go down that route, I'd rather they just been honest about it instead of just trying to do this little roundabout, ring around the roses shit. And basically, then you fight the boss. And then, if you don't do it, you have to play this little dice thing all over again. And I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing that pissed me off about that whole shit. The shit's stupid because Dante sliced through the dice when he went back through. So it's like, what the fuck is Nero doing? Like, why doesn't he not just cut through the dice? That's how you know this shit was just like, the plot reasons, this shit didn't make sense, bro. And Dante could slice through it. And also, let me remind you, fucking Nero had Yamato back again in his hand. So he could have easily sliced through that dice. So it's like, bro, what are we doing right now? Like, what are we doing right now, bro? Like, I don't even know what the thought process. This shit's ass though. And I'm like, that single-handedly had pissed me off so badly, and I genuinely wanted to just straight up quit and turn the game. I was like, alright, I wanted to turn the game off so damn bad. You guys have no idea. But the only reason I didn't do it is because in the Legendary Dark Knight, when you don't, you stop like in the middle of a certain point like that, the shit sends you all the way back. Now, not in this case. Like, if I were to, like, quit the entire game, I'll get sent all the way back to the beginning. I'd be damned if I do that shit all over again. Fuck that. I was not finna roll those dice and fight those bosses like that again. Fuck that. It wasn't even the bosses that really annoyed me. It was just the dice. I can't stand that shit. Shit is stupid, bro. It's so fucking stupid. Like, I can't be the only one who think that shit was stupid as fuck. That whole dice shit. That shit was stupid, bro. They need to never, and I mean never, bring that bullshit back in any Devil May Cry game. I genuinely need to never see that shit again, bro. That shit had to be the most worst enemy idea I've ever seen for a Devil May Cry game, bro. Cause that shit was ass. That shit was ass. Like, I don't know if that was, like I said, I don't know if that was just there because I played Legendary Dark Knight difficulty, and that was just there to like make the difficulty harder because of the mode I was playing. But bro, if that's in a regular mode, that's insane. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's fucking insane. If that's in the regular mode, like, that's crazy as hell. And then it falls to the boss, and then he spammed me as well. Honestly, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna have to reevaluate what I think about some of the bosses in this game too. Some of the bosses in this game weren't bad. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the Fire Dragon. I like the Plant Lady. I like the Plant Lady. I definitely like the Frog. Frog's actually really fun to fight against. Then I like the Dragon too. He's pretty fun to fight against. And the Plant Lady is pretty fun to fight against too. There are interesting bosses to fight in their own little way. And then you fought against oh yeah, and Moth Boy, and Butterfly Boy, whatever the fuck he was. He was alright. He was alright. He was not too crazy. He's pretty simple for the most part as well. He's probably the simplest boss of them all. But the crime against all of them has to be that one boss, bro. And it's goddamn, what's the name? What was that one boss, bro? No, the Pope. The final boss has to be the most annoying boss I've ever played. Honestly, it's like, he's the spammy boss, and I can't stand fucking spam bosses, guys. He's genuinely a spam boss. He's a boss that sits in a shield and spams attacks at you all day long. Spamming attacks honestly wouldn't be so bad, but the other problem, the biggest problem that irritates me the most about him is that he sits in a fucking bubble. And equivalently, he makes it so he's invulnerable basically half the damn time. Like, you just sitting there having to keep waiting for this man to not be in his bubble. Well, you had to break the bubble, but basically, he just sitting there in the bubble. You break it, he teleports like 8 times around the fucking. It's a small place. It's not like he teleports hella far and nothing like that. He just teleports like 8 times, and like you can't fly and nothing. And that's something I kind of now thinking about even more. Why the hell can you not fly in your Devil Trigger form? Now, I'm not talking about Nero. I'm talking about Dante. Why the hell he can't fly? This well, why can't Dante fly his Devil Trigger form? That's kind of weird because in Devil May Cry 6 you can fly. You get your Devil Trigger form. If you got the attribute equipped and stuff like that, then you can just fly around all day every day. So that's weird. You know, I'm not sure why he didn't just fly in that. I don't think it's really strongly necessary, but it would have been, you know, it would have been nice. I'm not gonna lie, it would have been nice to have that ability to fly. So I'm not sure why they don't just let you fly with that. And then you had a situation in like Nero, you know, he's like kind of like spiritually using his Devil Trigger. It's not his like complete Devil Trigger, and like that whole situation going down. And I was like, I genuinely don't understand like what was the thought process in making a boss who sits in a bubble and then this man spams attacks at you. He flies around, he teleports place to place, place to place, place to place, and he just keeps teleporting, and then he teleports and like don't get me wrong, like he doesn't like he was all right when I faced him the first time, but like I thought he was gonna do something different when you fought him again in the big final battle. This man genuinely, I've been better off fighting against him in the statue than he would doing the shit he was doing. This man genuinely was in that bubble just spamming attacks, and then he got on the ground like once or twice and he popped right back into the air. It was like, okay, like what, bro? Like, what are we doing right now, bro? And like, I'm gonna be honest, he's my least favorite boss. Honestly, of all Devil May Cry games, he's probably my least favorite boss to fight against. Like, just to fight against. And like, just like, well, as a boss, even I mean, to be honest, even as like just the main villain of the game, it's kind of like low key close to like Arius level. He wasn't really like no very complicated or no very like I'm grand goal sort of villain. He was just kind of like, yeah, I'm like the pope of the church, and you guys gonna trust me and believe me because I'm gonna lead you all to a bright future when I become a god using demon powers, and all that good stuff, So he's definitely on the same level as Arius to me. I don't know who's worse, honestly, between the two of them. It's like, I don't really care, but he's definitely on the same level. So Devil May Cry 3 villain on top, Devil May Cry 1 villain on top. It was just more fun to fight those villains. And then, yeah, I think that's all I got to say for this game, honestly. Everybody else is cool. Trish, Lady, bad. Well, like, I don't mean they're like bad characters. I mean like they're genuinely bad. Like, come on, guys. Like, like baddies, bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, I already know, man. I already know, man. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to really think of for this game. I just had to get it off my chest because I had to talk about that dog shit. That dog shit was ass. God, games. That shit was ass. That shit dropped so far in the rankings for just that alone made me put Devil May Cry 4 damn there. I want to put it. If it's not for the gameplay and how smooth the gameplay, and how fun the gameplay is with Dante and Nero is in itself, and like I know I said that it got like repetitive, but that's because that's after a while. That's after a while playing this Nero. It's not like it's like that in the beginning. Like you have a lot of fun with them. You actually get kind of creative and do your own thing with them and whatnot with Nero. But when it comes down to it all, bro, damn near, bro, the shit close to like Devil May Cry 2 level. Like, I'm not kidding. It's close to Devil May Cry 2 level. And also, what's the deal with these voice actors, bro? Like, are they changing voice actors? I know it's Johnny Bosch for Nero, though. I recognize that voice. But, like, I think it is the same voice actor from the third game. I think it's the same voice actor. But, like, I kind of, well, to be fair, I did look it up for the first game. I thought the first game or second game had the same voice actor. No, they don't have the same voice actor. So why the hell did they change the voice actor for Dante so damn much? I gotta look into that. That's really interesting to see that. Like, his voice actor changed a lot, guys. Like, the first game is a different voice actor, and then the second game is a different voice actor. And like the first two actually sound a little similar, but now that I went back recently and kind of like played and listened, and I'm like, oh, like, yeah, they do sound different. And third one's a different voice actor, and I think from there, I think they kept using the same one. I think it might have been it might have been a different one for the third one too. It might have been, but I think it's the same one from the third game too, and using it into this game. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know why they're not consistent with the voice actors when it comes to Devil May Cry. He had a lot of voice actors. Like, there's no consistency when it comes to Dante up to the third game at least. After the third game is when it gets kind of consistent a little bit, and then you go from 5, and then next series that's a whole different voice actor again because Johnny Bosch basically voices him in on the Netflix version. So it's like, I don't know why there's no consistency, and maybe there's probably some reason for it, but yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. I can go even deep into this game, but I'm not going to, guys. Honestly, I kind of, I'm gonna keep it short, because if I do, I'll just be ranting all day about this game. Do I like this game? I do. Is the gameplay fun? Yes. Is the story cool? It's cool. It's all right. All right, it's all right. It's nothing special, but it's all right. I like the Dante part of the story. Nero's story is pretty generic. Boy saves girl. Boy realizes he's been lied to. Boy has to go stop the villains, the people he thought that was good. So I don't think it was nothing too special, but you know, it gets the job done. And then we have, well, I don't have nothing to say for Virgil because I didn't play that part. I don't know if his story is different or not, so I don't know about Lady and Trish's either, so that's why I found that Dante's was the most funnest part of the story, honestly. Nero had his little moments. He has cool little moments where he was fighting the bosses and stuff. I wish Nero would actually, I don't know, finish them off so I don't have to repeat them again and again. But, you know, this game's greatest flaw is repeating bosses. I don't know why the hell they did that so many times. I mean, genuinely, like 3 times is crazy to be fighting a boss. At least Devil May Cry 3 was only 2 times. But 3? Come on, bro. If I'm doing a special Bloody Palace or something like that, I'll understand. But in the actual main story, fighting the same boss 3 times? Come on, guys. You can't tell me that's not annoying. Like, by that point, I pretty much memorized all the combos or all the patterns and attacks of what they can do. So it's like, it's not interesting to me to keep doing that over and over. But I digress. Alright. What we're looking at here, alright? On the scale of 1 to 10, where does Devil May Cry sit? Devil May Cry 4 sit? It's not as bad as Devil May Cry 2, but it's not as fun. I'm not putting it above Devil May Cry 3. I'm gonna be honest. It's probably sitting at a 7 out of 10. I can't remember what I put Devil May Cry 3 at. Did I say 8 out of 10? I think I said 8 out of 10 for it. I might say 8 out of 10 for that game. I don't know. I gotta go back and look at my own video. I can't fucking remember what I put for that game. But yeah, this game here, man, is sitting at a 7 out of 10. All right, and it's barely touching that because I have Devil May Cry 2 sitting at 6 out of 10. I have Devil May Cry 1 sitting at a 7 out of 10, I believe. Yeah, I believe I have that sitting at 7 out of 10. I gotta go back and look at that too to be sure because I can't honestly remember right now. I think I felt I put it at that spot. Then put Devil May Cry 3 8 out of 10. This game is definitely gonna be a 7 out of 10. All right, the gameplay was fun, but the story was mid. And then you have the bosses and everything else was fun but repetitive, so that already drops it even more. Honestly, I'm close to a 6 because I'm thinking about that dice shit again. I don't understand what the hell was the thought process in adding that bullshit, but I digress. That's all I have to say, people. You may think I might be just going a little too hard. You know, I might be just being a little frustrated because I'm just coming out the game and I'm thinking about it. It's very fresh in my brain right now. But I think right now is the best time for me to say it all. But then again, maybe if I let my thoughts settle and my feelings settle on the game, they may change. So I don't think it's going to go any higher than a 7. But I might have a better opinion of it in other aspects. And I think that's about it, guys. Everyone else is yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will, well, the next game, which is going to be the DMC reboot. You won't get Devil May Cry 5 out of me because I've already played that, and I think I've already uploaded that at some point. I don't know where it's at on my channel, but I think it's there. I think it is. It's been years since I uploaded that, but I'm gonna find it and see what it's looking like. But yeah, DMC reboot 1 coming up next. And also, well, with all that being said, folks, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like that video, so that video. Tell me what you think and put it below. And what are your thoughts on Devil May Cry 4? I'm genuinely curious. Like, what are your opinions on the bosses? Do you feel they're repetitive, fighting the bosses 3 times? Because I can't be the only one, right? It was one I let it slide when Devil May Cry 3 did it at the end, because they did the same shit where you basically just went back and fought all the bosses again before you got to the final boss. I don't know who it is in that development squad that loves that, but somebody in the development squad really loves making players do that. I don't know who it is. One time is one time, but 2 times, I don't know. It didn't bother me as much though, because honestly, it was just 2 times. But 3, guys, man, 3. I think this game was pushing the limit that I don't like. But yeah, it's just tell me what you think down in the comments below. You think my opinion is valid, or I'm just tripping too much? But am I tripping? I don't think I'm tripping, honestly, guys. I think I'm pretty valid in what I'm saying, honestly. Because if I was tripping, I recognize if I'm tripping sometimes. But tell me what's your opinion. Devil May Cry 4. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm Spectro. See you guys next time. See ya.